So we're going live to Facebook here. All right, so welcome everyone. Welcome. As you're coming on, please let us know where you are watching us from. Please give us your name, where you're watching us from, and welcome to Clear Vision with Miles. We'll start here in about 8-10 minutes. It's week 24. We start about 7 minutes. Thank you everyone for joining. If you're joining us right now, please leave us your name. Let us know where you're watching us from. And please, if you can, just click on that share button and share this out to your social media. We greatly appreciate that. We're going to give a few more minutes here. About 7 minutes we'll be starting. So go ahead and send those texts out, send those messages out, and we hope to see you on here real soon. We're going to start with a special guest today, closing out our adoption series with a very, very special guest today. So we're very excited. Start about 4 minutes. Thank you so much for joining. If as you're joining, please leave us your name, where you're watching us from. We greatly appreciate that. If you can share this out to your social media, we greatly appreciate it. We're starting in about 3 minutes. Wow, we're gonna get started here in about 2 minutes. 2 minutes. We'll be starting Clear Vision with Miles, our 24th week in a row. Special guest today. We're excited. Thank you so much for joining. Please let us know where you're watching us from. Wow, we're gonna start about 1 minute. One more minute, last minute, 60 seconds. And we should be starting Clear Vision. Week number 24. All right, all right. Thank you so much for joining, everyone. My name is Miles. I am your host, and let me get my video on here so you can see me. Hello, everyone. Hope everyone's doing great. Welcome to week 24, 24 weeks straight. I've come on here and I've shared everything about my eyesight, and I've shared you some very important things about my journey. And before we get started, I want to officially go ahead and launch this video here. So give me one quick second as I launch this video. Well, welcome to Clear Vision. My name is Miles Sherwood, coming to you live here from San Diego, California. And I'm very, very excited to share with you today. This is week 24. And I want to just take this real quick here on my this PowerPoint here. I love to show just the vision of what we have here and our logo. It's definitely want to promote the clear vision in life for everyone. And if you would please like us on Clear Vision with Miles on Facebook and also on YouTube. You can follow us on Clear Vision with Miles. Next week, we're going to start a new series. So make sure you tune in for that. 9th of December is going to be in Spanish, and we're going to talk about ending this year strong. So we'll have one in Spanish, one in English, and then we'll end the year off with one more. Also, been promoting all this month my book. Please know that my book is available in Spanish and English. It's Adoption Love. You can get that on YouTube, you can get that on Amazon, and you can also get it from adoptionlove.us. All the proceeds last month and this month is going to go to Sonriendo Juntos, which is a home of about 13 girls who have babies, 11 babies in this home, where we provide a home for them. These girls are babies having babies, and we're supporting Sonriendo Juntos. If you go back a few weeks ago, we talked a little bit more about them, but with every purchase of this book, everything goes to them. So if you're here local, I can get you one. If you want to go onto Amazon, just go to adoptionlove.us, adoptionlove.us. And so we're bringing together this year. And so thank you so much, guys, for being here. We have a very, very special guest today. And I want to, before I bring her on, I just want to read something really quick here. Let me go ahead and get that up here. Bear me one second because my eyes, this bright light. But I want to bring someone on today, though she is not a native of Colorado. Vonda Downs has spent the last 22 years of her professional career working in the real estate industry in the Metro Denver area. She serves as a loan officer for Movement Mortgage. I love the name. Vonda is passionate about serving others. She's generally cares for her clients and strives to give them the best possible experience as they secure financing for their home. Now, through what can often be a stressful process, Vonda's goal is to ease that anxiety by ensuring her clients feel valued and cared for every step of the way. Vonda is happily married to her husband of 35 years. You've got me by 10, Vonda. You guys have me by 10. She has 3 children, and you got me by 1 child, and has her first grandchild that is 2 years old. And today I am blessed to have another person online with me today who's also experienced adoption, and she's going to share that story with us. So Vonda, can you hear me? Are you there?
I can hear you. Hi.
Awesome. Vonda, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thanks. And how are you?
I'm doing good. I'm not as cold as you are up in Colorado. How cold is it today?
How cold is it today? Oh my, I don't even know. It's been one of those days I've been at my computer all day.
I hear you. I hear you. Well, Vonda, I gave a little intro there. I want you to tell everyone a little bit about, we're going to get to our welcomes here in a minute, but I just want to get to, let everyone know who Vonda is. Just kind of introduce yourself. I spoke a little bit about you. We'll talk a little bit here during the program, but I'm just blessed to have you on this program. And when I think about the people who, and I pray about who the people should be on, the people that come to my mind, that I just feel that God brings them to this. You're the one of those people that came in my mind. And but just share with people, who you are. We talked about the realty, what your experience is, but talk about your family. Just tell us a little bit who Vonda is.
Well, thank you, Miles. And I just respect you so much as well, and appreciate so much what you're doing. Just really being able to just share such a positive message to the world. And I love, of course, we have a mutual love for adoption. Yes. And I know when we first met, I think it didn't take long before that topic came up, and we were able to just share some really great things together. So thanks for having me, and I'm excited to talk about adoption. It's one of my favorite things to talk about, and I think if you've been impacted by adoption, you get what I mean by that. And as far as who I am, I mean, I grew up I'm a preacher's daughter, actually. Grew up in Arkansas and then Iowa, and met my husband at a Christian college in Nebraska. We've kind of been in different places through our 35 years together, but we have two biological children. We have a son who's 30 and our daughter who's 25, and then we adopted Lindsay who's 16. So it was a great experience for all of us, our two older children as well. So just has impacted all of us in such a great way.
It is. And we're going to talk a little bit about that. I want to show everyone real quick here, just a quick picture as you talked about the family, and talk to us a little bit about let's go right to there's your family there, the beautiful family. There's Lindsay on the right there. Beautiful.
Yes, there's Lindsay. And actually, this is last year. Marin is the bride. She's our 25-year-old. And she actually went on, it was supposed to be a 1-year mission trip to China, and she stayed for 5 years. So she ended up meeting Sam, who's the handsome young man standing beside her there. And they're married now. And they just moved back here or to the United States 2 weeks ago. And so we're so excited to have them close by, and they're getting used to now being here. They're here staying with us for about a month as they look for where they're going to be living. And then my husband then is to the left of Marin, and then the far left is our son Caleb and his wife Shelby with baby Finn. We still call him, he's almost 3. I think we might have to stop calling him baby Finn soon.
But he's a little one right now, right?
Yes, he's a lot of fun.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, let's get right into what we want to talk about. I know you and I talked before about this, and we've talked about it a lot, about adoption. I've shared my story. You said you watched my story or one of the programs a couple of weeks ago when I had my mom on, and I think that's interesting because you now have adopted. My mom is an only child. My dad has one sister. They had no kids, and my parents adopted us because they could not have children. And so she talked the whole process. But why don't you have a different situation, and I love that about this, and that I always want to be able to bring have these topics to be able to speak about them. And please, anyone that's watching, please, if you have any questions, for myself or Vonda about adoption, please let us know. Just before you get into that, Vonda, I want to talk a little bit. We'll get into that question, but let's just say hi to some people here, because if I don't, then they're gonna get on to me. They're gonna say, you didn't say hi to me.
Be friendly, Miles. That's
an inside joke, but so obviously my wife is supporting and watching. Please share this out if you guys can. Oh, Monica from Monterrey. She's going to be on in a couple of weeks with us in Spanish from Monterrey, Mexico. She's going to be with us. So, hola, Monica. Good to see you. She says, saludos desde Monterrey. So Monterrey is watching. Monterrey, Mexico is live. Yesenia Robles is from Claremont, California. Hola, Yesi. My parents, Alvin and Jean, are watching from Dallas, Texas. They both say mom and dad, they're at a meeting, okay, but they're going to catch the recording. Looks like a great story. So they're going to be listening to your story. They're going to catch the recording. Alma here from San Diego is watching. She's sending smiles. So if you guys can, please give us those hearts. Please share this out on your social media so that others can hear Vonda's story, can hear this Adoption Love series. So Vonda, let's talk a little bit about that. So my parents adopted myself and my two sisters, so we're all adopted. Adoption throughout my whole life was talked about, seen positively about. I don't think I'm weird, different, or anything. Didn't feel anything different. I look like my sisters. My kids look like us. My son looks like my wife. My daughter looks like me. If I never mentioned adoption, it would never come across. Your situation is a little different. And so would you share a little bit about that as we talked earlier? If you want to talk first, how for you, why adoption? What was you already had two children. Why 12 years later wanted to, or, a few years later wanted to adopt. Can you, can you explain to our guests today, just, people that are watching the recording, why the need for adoption?
Well, for both my husband and I, we both were impacted by adoption early on. I remember in college, and when we first were dating, his roommate was adopted, and his roommate was a very good friend of both of us, and one of the best people you could ever meet in your whole life. And we went and visited his hometown and his family, and he and his sister were adopted. And it just impacted us so much that here's someone that we love, and we see their family, and we're like, wow, it would be different if his parents hadn't chosen to adopt him. And so that really impacted us, and several other people that we knew. And in our church, a lot of families adopt. We actually had we've had some very good friends that did adopt from China. If you may know that there was the one child policy for many, many years, and they were just, I don't know how many thousands and thousands of baby girls that were abandoned. And so that we learned about that moved our heart. And we had some friends of ours that had adopted from China, and then we just sort of fell in love with those little girls. And my husband and I, when I actually did have the second pregnancy, my pregnancies were a little challenging. I was sick a lot of the time, and but we wanted to adopt as well as have our two biological children, and just decided to do that. So we just wanted to make a difference in the world with so many. We often say, it's like, man, I wish we could have adopted 10 more, and just just continue to just love up on these children. But anyway, that's kind of where we came from, is just wanting to be able to love one of God's children that needed a family.
Now, you mentioned something that I haven't heard in a long time, and that's the one child policy. There may be people on here right now that don't know anything about that. That's basically in China to stop the population, right?
Yes. And I don't remember, I've read books on it before, but I don't remember exactly when it started. But you see a whole generation of families who were only allowed to have one child. And so many, who ended up being pregnant more than once would either get an abortion or abandon the child. And also in the culture, the male children usually take care of their families as they age. And so that also put them in a predicament. Sometimes they could even have a second child. And so if the first one was a daughter, some of the abandoned children were the second daughters because they needed to have a son. So there's a lot that kind of goes into that, but it's so sad when you think about what the families had to go through, and all of the children.
Just interesting, because we don't have anything like that here in the US. I mean, it's a total different system. So it's just interesting how you mentioned that. So you have people, adoption was something that you guys had talked about, something that you had experienced in your church, experienced when you were younger. Adoption from China is what you guys selected. Can you talk a little about that? Why you chose China, and kind of what was that process?
I did make some calls, to local adoption agencies, and I don't know if this is the case. I didn't end up going this route, but one of the things that I was told in talking to some social workers is that, to be in America, we could put ourselves on the adoption list, create your dossier and, put yourself on the list and wait for that child to be born. And I felt that there were a lot of families that were not able to have biological children, and were waiting for that, we're waiting for that newborn. And so we weren't in that situation. And yet we did still want a child pretty young, to be able to be added to our family. And so it just ended up happening that with China, usually the children were 12 months old or somewhere around that, which is what Lindsay was. And so still young to be brought into our family at that young age, but we didn't necessarily feel like we needed an infant. So that's kind of one of the things that took us to China, and then just, having some friends that we just fell in love with them too. And then it ends up both of our older children have spent time in China on the mission field. So God had a plan.
Yeah.
So, and then now we have Sam as part of our family as our son-in-law. So I think it was way bigger than us.
Wow. That's incredible. Well, you adopted your daughter from China. Lindsay, we've put some pictures. We'll put some more pictures on there. She was 12 months. She's 16 years old now.
Mm-hmm.
Talk to us a little bit. I know you and I spoke about this as well. Talk to us a little bit. And your daughter, you spoke with her too. How have you communicate with her? How, you mentioned to me you saw a TV show.
Yeah.
How can you explain to people how that worked?
Sure. So yeah, when she joined our family, 12 months old, not just our immediate family, but our extended family, my sister's brother, my parents. Everybody just loved up on Lindsay. Everybody who's ever met her loves Lindsay. Like if you meet her, you love her. And she's just such precious. And so we had just so much fun with her as a young child. And then going to school, we actually did have her go to a full immersion Mandarin school. So she started kindergarten. One of the things we wanted to do, since, she was from a different culture, we wanted her to be able to be experiencing that, learning about her culture that she came from, and just having open dialogue and talks about that. So from kindergarten through 5th grade, she was at the full immersion school.
Wow.
So, that was really great. She did start experiencing in some, one of the challenges, as you mentioned, you're about your children looking like you, something that Lindsay has talked about is it's difficult to be Asian and the rest of your immediate family are Caucasian. And so for us, it was just, oh, she's beautiful. We love her. It's adorable. We didn't really quite, we didn't feel those things. And but as she's grown up and we've been able to talk about them, she has been able to express that, it's hard. Like if you can imagine walking into a restaurant with your family and then it's like, there's a feeling of like, I look different than the people, my family. And that's a really difficult. So there's a show that Lindsay and I have watched, This Is Us. If you are on the call, you may have seen it. It's very popular.
Yeah.
And in that story, the Caucasian family does adopt a child that was abandoned. And he's African-American and Black. I'm not sure what's the politically correct way to say that. So the whole show, though, there's a lot of adoption theme through it, and especially being that he was a different race than the family that raised him. And so after each show, Lindsay and I would just have the deepest talks, and she was like, the writers of this are really good because they know exactly what we feel. Yeah. So it really was just such a great thing for us to be able to do that together. And I did ask her recently, because I wondered, would it be better, to adopt from your own race? Is this too difficult, but she was very quick to say no, that she goes, but I think that if you are adopting a different race, it is important to understand that there will be some feelings and to have open dialogue and, nothing off the table as far as being able to talk about your feelings and exposing her to, of course, her 2 older siblings living in China, and now having a brother-in-law who's Chinese is just really awesome. So anyway, I just think, obviously that's a deep topic and something that we could, get even deeper into, but I think that just was something that she advises, but she loves being part of our family, and I know that God is working through her and just helping her to feel that love and acceptance and love who she is.
It's interesting, Vonda, but we can't, we'll never experience what she's experiencing. we don't know.
Mhm.
Like you said, it's, our desire, this is just us personal, okay? We wanted to adopt. I'm in Spanish, we say corazón de pollo, a heart, a chicken's heart, or you see a baby and you fall in love. I lived in Mexico for many years and
Mm.
always, worked with the children, fed the children, all these different things with children. And you just see, your heart opens up, so it's gonna be, I love wearing this sweater because I can unzip my heart and my heart just comes open, I can unzip and my heart just pours out, and so these kids, that's what happens. But it's, it's something to be able to, I wanted to, adopt a child that looked like me. And that was kind of my selfish way because I wanted to. Viviana and I adopted through the county of San Diego. We did not do a private, so we did the county of San Diego. We had to get certified. We had to go through all these classes. We had to sit on a panel where a panel of adult adoptees. So adults that were adopted at birth or at a young age would talk about their experience of adoption. If they were sitting in the same, if they were through the foster care, they were adopted. And so we adopted that. We don't believe in the foster care system. I don't like the foster care system, just personally, like you were saying. I'm not sure if it's politically correct to say that. Well, this is my show and I can say what I want. I do not like the foster care system, and I'll talk about it in my book. I'll talk about it in my book about how the foster care system has not been changed in over 75 years.
Mm.
So a system that's not been changed over 75 years is broken. Things have changed in the last 10 years
Mhm.
in life, in the world. And
Yes.
so I talk about that, and what I proclaim and what I share and what I really talk about is that, we need to adopt. We need to adopt. We don't need to find a temporary resolution for these children. We need to find a permanent. And that's what you did. You did a permanent home. You provide a permanent family. But you did that even in another culture. You look different, but even when I share that picture, it's, you guys look like one happy family.
Yeah.
Just recently, I'm going to show some more pictures. Just recently, you guys talked about that and about talk about a little what you said your daughter mentioned to you about how she looks compared to the family.
Yeah. I think just I think as she's grown, like for yeah, and matured, and we just very strong faith, and we have been, we're at church, very involved in our community at church, and there are other families too that have even adopted from China that she has relationships with, and so yeah, we've really done our best to really be able to have her experience that. And what's super cool is that when she came, like, I had a career, so I was working full time, and so my sisters, I have two sisters that live close by, and so they ended up they had a daycare in their home, and so they started watching Lindsay, and so her aunts, which are like her second moms, and so she got to be with them, and they just loved her so much, and they were so impacted by her that they both have now adopted.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And so, and those stories are amazing too.
Yeah.
Maybe next year on your adoption series.
Yeah. No, we need to bring them on.
Yeah. So my sister adopted a little girl, and here locally, she's actually, her dad's from Guatemala. And then she, after they adopted her, they got a phone call a few months later saying her birth mother was in the hospital and just gave birth to a little boy, but was not going to be keeping him. Would you like to take him too? And at the time, my sister actually had a lot of health issues going on. She's like, I don't know if I can have two little ones. And so then my sister, who lives not even a mile from her, talked with her husband, and they adopted the little baby boy.
Wow.
And so they are growing up siblings / cousins. Yeah. So it's just awesome. Beautiful. And then my brother, through marriage, adopted his wife's two girls. And so all four of us have adopted children. And so our family is just a big group of love.
See, I didn't know that. So we definitely need to have your family on. I was just thinking, and me, I have visions. I was just envisioning, us to be able to do something like this, but have a panel and just have us all on here.
Oh, that would be awesome. I'd
And
love
just
that.
all, we could talk, we get open questions. That's, or
Mhm.
you talk to them,
Oh, yeah, they would love to, I'm sure. And
talk to them and tell them we'll do it. We don't have to wait
so,
a year. We could do
yeah.
it. We could do it in a
So
couple
Lindsay,
months.
yeah, we can, whenever is good for you.
Yeah.
So Lindsay grew up then with her cousins as well.
That's awesome.
And so that's really cool. And you know, that was a blessing. And then about, oh my, let's see, a couple of years ago, it was actually Christmas of 2019.
Mhm.
Lindsay and I we talk about everything. So one of the things we talked about was, the 23andMe tests, that are pretty popular
Mhm.
these days. So we talked about that. She had asked about it. She was 13, 12. And I, just as a parent, my husband and I talked about it, and we're like, well, there's a lot of different things that you can find out about yourself medically and all of that. And it's like, we want her to be mature enough to be able to, handle whatever she learns. So it's like, yeah, let's do that, maybe when you're 18. So that was our thought.
Mhm.
Well, as God put it on our heart then later, that we wanted to do it now, that we needed to do it sooner.
Mhm.
And so we talked about it. We bought her a 23andMe kit for 2019 Christmas, and surprised her. And she was like, "Oh, I thought I was going to wait till I was 18." It's like, well, I don't know. We feel very strongly that you can do it now if you want to. And so she did. And she sent her results in right away. She was so excited. And on January 17th, 2020, we got the results. And I opened them up first because I thought I want to see what they say and then talk with her when she gets home from school.
Mhm.
And
Kind of give it to her maybe a little soft, right?
yeah, and it's just see if there was anything that maybe would be hard to deal with, that we need to talk and be prepared. But what we found was no medical issues for her, but we found a biological sister.
Wow.
And she's 4 years older than Lindsay. They have 58.6% exact DNA. So if you're siblings, you have about 50%. So they're definitely siblings, have the same mom and dad, birth mom and dad. And so it was just amazing when my husband got home from work and Lindsay was home from school, and we sat on the couch and we went through it all together. And then when she clicked on it, I think she was just like, sister? like what? Looking at that. And so anyway, that was just amazing. And they look basically, they almost look like twins, and they have so many mannerisms. We've connected with their family. We met at an Airbnb. They live in Kentucky. And so we met them halfway and got an Airbnb and brought their family. Delaney is her name.
I think we have a picture of her.
Oh, bring up the picture. Yeah. There they are. Delaney's on the left, Lindsay's on the right. And this is actually the time we met in Topeka, Kansas at the Airbnb. Delaney was getting her senior pictures taken, and our daughter is a photographer, our daughter-in-law, Shelby. So she took her senior pictures, and then they did some professional pictures, Lindsay and Delaney together. So that was our first weekend to get to meet her and her family. Aren't they so cute?
They look just alike.
They look a lot alike, and it's so funny how many things are similar because they grew up in different families, and we would just laugh like the whole weekend. It'd be like Lindsay only drinks water, and it's like Delaney only drinks water, like she doesn't like soda. Or Lindsay had an underbite, a very severe underbite as she was growing, and so did Delaney. They both had braces twice. They're both left-handed. I mean, there's just like really crazy personality things that are similar. They're just so cute, and they've had a great relationship here over the last 2 years, and now Delaney's in college. So, and they've been out to visit us. We've been to visit their home. So we love the Flaherty family, and they're part of our family now too. So that was just a gift from God. And so, kind of going back to the identity things that Lindsay had felt. Now, Delaney also, her parents, they have a biological daughter, and then they adopted Jade, And she was adopted from China years later. So it's kind of a bit of a gap there. And then they adopted Delaney a couple of years, I think, after Jade. So both of them are Chinese. And so they grew up together. And I think that that was really great, like to have a sister who's the same, race.
Yeah.
And I think that helped not to feel like you're the only one different. So anyway, I think that is great if you can do that.
But I think you guys did a wonderful job at, raising her. One, you raised her to love God. You raised her, with, how she can look to God for everything. You guys set an example. That's, we've got to credit you as well for you and your husband for doing an awesome job on that, because it's not easy. I mean, it's not easy for a teenager nowadays, much less, my skin looks different. That's my mom and dad. Even in the States, it's more common now. But just the fact that she can say, I have that, and for her, that's important that she has a biological sister. That now she's like, okay, maybe things are complete now, but I don't think that she was incomplete before.
Yeah, I think what you were talking about earlier when you and I discussed it. And again, I feel like our whole story, you just see things that God did all the way through it. And even the fact that we decided to do the 23andMe when she was 13 instead of 18, she had her biological sister all through her teen years. And, when they're so much alike that after getting to meet her, Lindsay said, it really has helped, like getting to meet her, just to see that, oh, this is the way I'm supposed to look, like it's DNA. It makes sense, and it just kind of filled in some of that was, missing, and helped with her identity. So it was just what she needed at the right time, and God provided. So.
And Vonda, there's going to be people that are watching this, maybe in the future, watching the recording, because I keep these up on a YouTube page, on Clear Vision with Miles. Please go there, subscribe to our channel, like that. These are tools, for people to be able to, go back and be encouraged. That's why I have businessmen, I have authors, I have pastors, I have, people that are involved in adoption. We're going to have other nonprofit organizations involved as well. There's one next week. I'm going to have someone, he has a nonprofit organization. And so he's going to be talking to us about how to end the year, finish strong, so that you can start fast the next year. So kind of a business principle that I learned many, many years ago. You probably know Scotty B. Merker. You know Scotty B. So I learned that from him many, many years ago in your business, but I do that in life as well. Finish strong, and so you can start fast. You don't want to, oh, it's Christmas, it's holidays, oh, I'm just going to kick back. And some things you can do that, but some things you can't. And so we bring all these, but these are tools for people to come back and later. And so there may be someone that, maybe wants to adopt, or maybe someone that is adopted, or maybe someone that they didn't even know they were adopted. I know cases that these kids did not know they were adopted, and they didn't know until later. And I think you would agree with me. It's best to tell them as young as possible.
Yes.
So that they adopt the culture of adoption. That it's not something weird, it's not something strange, it's not something out of this world, it's something natural, and it's something that God has adopted all of us.
Right. Yes.
So look into that camera, Vonda, and speak to those people who are watching, and take as much time as you need. Share with them your heart, and what would you say for someone that's thinking of adopting, and maybe someone who has been adopted and they didn't know, or they're kind of struggling with that. What would you say to those people?
Wow. That question made me cry. I just want, if you're thinking about adopting, just do it. Like, it is the greatest blessing. Like, even, of course, we love our biological children, we love our adopted daughter. There's something, though, like you just mentioned, how God adopted us, and there's something that you grasp, I think, through adoption, in the way that God loves us, and it's just beautiful. And so, yeah, Lindsay is, just extra special. and has just not just my husband and I, but again, our son, our daughter, her aunts, her uncles, cousins, like everyone, has been touched by her life and who she is and her love. So it's just, it's such a great blessing. And for those that may be adopted, that, may have some feelings, maybe you've found out recently and you're struggling with that, or maybe you're trying to find your birth parents. There's a lot of things around adoption, and there is, trauma like through it. So I think one of the things as an adoptive a mom, it was like our story is just all beautiful. It's all positive. It's all wonderful. And I had to learn that no, there is trauma around our story too, because she was a couple of days old, maybe a day old when she was found and left, in a box on the side of the street by a school. I feel like her parents put her somewhere where she would be found, and I'm sure that they left her. And but there's trauma around that. Like, why did that happen? And there's loss around that. And so I had to learn that and embrace that and feel it myself and be with her through it and be okay with that. That doesn't mean she doesn't love me. That doesn't mean she doesn't love her family. It just is her story. And so I think just being understanding of what those feelings are as well as we can. Like you said, we'll never feel that exactly. Sometimes Lindsay will say to me, I wish you could just be inside me for a minute so you could feel what I'm feeling. And then we could talk about it, because she has a hard time explaining how she feels too. And so I thought, wow, that's really insightful. That'd be really neat if I could do that. And I try my best, but if I could just be inside her thoughts and feelings for just a moment, that'd be so amazing. So anyway, I think, but know that you are just as loved and maybe even more, because you were chosen. And just know how much you're loved, and that God loves you, and that He has a plan, that really it's sovereign, the plan for your life that's beyond any of us. So I guess that's what I would say, just to share my heart.
No, that's awesome. This whole series, I'm not going to say it's coming to an end, because we're going to continue the series later on. Everyone that's watching this and Vonda already said that we'll bring her family in. We'll do like a panel, because we can fit 50 people on here, but we can get like whatever we need, 4, 5, 8 people on here, and we'll talk about that experiences. But what I really wanted, and I think each one of my guests, and without exception, Vonda, you do this exact same thing. I wanted people to share their hearts, with every single person that's watching this, whether it's one person, whether it's 10, whether it's 100, whatever it is, that you'd be able to hear the heart of someone that has had her own children, has birthed her children in her womb, and she's birthed one in her heart. They've all been birthed in her heart. Mm-hmm. And so my mom has I wish she had it when we were speaking, but she has a sign on her wall. It says, "You're not flesh of my flesh or bone of my bone. You weren't born in my womb, but you were born in my heart." And that's, that's the most special thing, is that all of our children are born in our heart. I haven't had natural children, but I have my children.
Yep.
I have my children. And so that's okay. I have my children. They're born in God's heart, first of all, because He adopted all of us. Mm-hmm. And so that's the purpose of this series. And I couldn't think of anyone else but you, Vonda, to close this, to have the 4th week. You're a blessing. Like you said, ever since we met, we clicked, I think, because of adoption, because, there's just, certain things, but I know there's going to be people out there that will identify with other people that maybe are on my show or on this Clear Vision podcast, but there are people that will identify with you that will identify with me. There are people that identify with me won't identify with you. And so again, this isn't about me. It's talking about the journeys that we've had. and your husband have been on, you have 3 journeys, and your 4th journey now with the baby and, you know, the grandbaby, and you don't look like you should have a grandbaby. Way too young for a grandbaby. But now you have your son-in-law, you know, he's from another country, you know, these are all journeys. These are
Mhm.
journeys, and it's life. And, you know, journeys aren't just the physical journeys like I had with my eye, losing vision in my right eye, having surgery on my left eye, not having either sight from April through September of this year. You
Wow.
know, that's a journey, but it's also a journey when your daughter that you adopted says, I just wish you could get inside of me. That hit me,
Mm.
I think, really, really deep, because I think we, as parents, we all want to just help and just be inside them. And I think the answer to that is you have someone better inside of you, better than me, better than mom. You
Mm.
have Jesus inside of you, and he's
Mm.
going to be with you. He's for you. He's never going to leave you or forsake you. And so if you're watching this today, just know that there is someone that is there for you. There is someone that, just like Lindsay wanted her mom to be inside her, just see inside her, there is someone that does see inside. There is
Mhm.
someone that knows exactly, because he created you.
Wow.
So if you don't know that creator, we invite you, Vonda, myself, invite you to know him. And so, Vonda, how can people, I told you I wouldn't put you on the spot, but just, this is simple. Just how would people contact you? I mean, if someone would like, I'm going to bring you on again. We're going to do another adoption thing. We're going to be launching Adoption Love as part of this, but Clear Vision is going to be launching officially. This has all been like a test. We're going to launch it officially in January, and we're just really excited. I've committed myself every single Friday. We may do some changes in January, but I've committed myself to do this in English and in Spanish, separate times. And we want to do an official launch where we support authors, musicians, nonprofits, all these different, you know, business entrepreneurs. And so there's so much that you could speak into people's lives. I want to invite you back. We're going to start in January a series called Entrepreneurship. So we're going to be, people start businesses in the new year. You know, we're going to be this month. We're going to end the year strong with a few different ideas and purposes, and how look at all the talents you have. Next week is going to be in Spanish, but it's going to be really good. Look all the talents you have. Make a note of all those talents and use those talents to be successful in your life. That's going to be really, really good. From Daniel
Mm.
Flores. You'll see him next week in Spanish, and we'll bring him on in English as well. But we're going to have end the year off with a pastor, friend of mine that's going to end the year off great. And then we're going to start the new year with some awesome entrepreneurs and people that have big projects and big dreams. And I was talking to someone the other day, is that he hasn't had his dream come true yet, what he really wants to do. And he's like, you know, I'm just liking this. There's a couple of things I'm liking. And it's like, well, let's get on and declare it. I believe in declaration. I believe in, and so he's going to come on. He says, I'm there. I'm going to come on. And he's got a huge dream to support and sponsor and lift up and really maximize the musicians, the young musicians
Mm.
in the country of Mexico. And
Oh,
so,
cool.
and so he has a biblical or Christian foundation background. He loves God, loves people. And so we're gonna kick things off in January with him, and then we're gonna have some other people talking about entrepreneurship. But Vonda, any last words you want to give? Tell people, how can they get a hold of you? How can they find you? I know you're in Colorado, and you do the mortgage. Tell us exactly what you do, and then how can people get a hold of you?
Well, thank you so much, Miles, and thank you for the work you're doing, and just the message, as I mentioned earlier, that it's just so encouraging, and your story and your faith. I mean, you've encouraged me so much just by the way you've handled adversity, pain and challenge, and yet, yeah, and I'm sure there were some tough times through that. And man, you keep your faith, and you just, like you said to me when I said that to you a while back, you said, I don't know how you'd get through it without your faith. So thank you for all you do. And to get a hold of me, I mean, you can certainly find me on Facebook. Vonda Downs is kind of a unique name, so you can usually find me pretty easily. And then Vonda Downs at gmail.com. Is also an email that you could reach out to me if you'd like to talk about adoption, or if you do have questions. If you're in Colorado, I'm only licensed in Colorado to do mortgages, so I can help you if you're in Colorado, but otherwise I could refer you to someone from Movement Mortgage. Like you said, it's a great name, it's a great company, just nationally, so they really have a great story. All of their profits, they're privately owned, so we don't have to pay shareholders. So 40% of our profit goes to underserved communities. So we just give away as much money as we can. So if we can do a mortgage for you, then that also helps people in that way. So I think, let's see, did I answer all your questions?
Yeah, you did. I'm going to share the comments again because I'll be in trouble if I don't. Again, inside joke. I just put in, you're from Colorado. I'll put your name in there so everybody can find her on Facebook. I put your daughter's name. I think I spelled it wrong. It's Linzhi, Linzhi.
Correct.
In the comments, I spelled it wrong. So sorry, I'm on my big thumbs and small phone. But Viviana, my wife, is putting all these hearts, beautiful hand claps. Dulce Torres, my sister-in-law from Guadalajara, Mexico, is watching right now.
Oh, cool.
She's saying hello from Guadalajara.
Oh, awesome. I've actually been there.
You've been to Guadalajara?
When I was in college, yes.
Nice. Where you just went to visit the city, or?
Well, the college I was part of, we went on a mission trip for 2 weeks there. And so just remember singing in the malls and meeting people and studying the Bible. It was just such a great time.
Do you remember what organization you went with?
Wow, it was York College, and it was called Ames, I think.
Ames,
was
okay.
The name. Yeah, I'm not sure if they still have Ames there or not. It was a long time ago.
Okay, yeah. No worries. Well, Guadalajara's changed. It's very European. So if
really?
you go to Guadalajara again, it's real nice, but it looks like Europe. Yeah, it looks like Italy or somewhere like that. It's nice.
Wow.
Michelle La Bonita, we call her Michelle La Bonita. She's from here, from San Diego. She's actually one of the girls who has done one of the intros for us, the little commercials for us. Michelle Bonita. And then on my wife's account, my kids don't have cell phones, okay? But on my wife's account, my 2 kids are watching right now.
Aww.
They actually every Friday broadcast. I'm in my home office, and then downstairs in the living room, they put our show up on the big screen, and they watch the show. So say hi to Miles Enrique.
Oh, Miles Enrique.
And
hi.
Dulce Nicole. So that's my 2 kids. They're actually, so Miles Enrique is saying, thanks for sharing your story.
Oh, thank you.
And then this is my daughter. It says, hi, this is my dad's daughter, Dulce Nicole, and your daughters are so pretty, and I love your story.
Oh, thank you so
much. Also, Karina Rojas here from San Diego. Karina is watching. Hi, Kari. How are you? Hope you're well. So awesome. So you can get a hold of Vonda. She's Vonda Downs on Facebook, or you can send me a message, and I'll get you in touch. If you know anybody in Colorado, Vonda is licensed to help someone get a mortgage in Colorado. I would love to move to Colorado. I don't know when, but I want to go to Colorado Springs with Andrew Womack, Charis Bible College. I want to go there. But that's, we want to support all what you're doing, Vonda, and appreciate you. You're pro adoption, and you're a blessing not only to that one person, that little person, Lindsay, but you're a blessing to generations. And so just because you adopted 1, I adopted 2, we can change generations by doing that. And so thank you so much for being obedient. Tell your husband we appreciate what you are doing, and continue to do and spread the word of adoption. And we're going to have you back on, okay?
Okay. I would love it.
All righty. Well, thank you so much. I'm going to go ahead and just put out a few things here, everyone. You can stay on, Vonda, if you want. It's all good. I'm just going to give a few little things here real quick, guys, and want to share about next week. And if you, well, I guess you guys wanted to see the daughter again. There she is. There's Lindsay. There she is. And there's the beautiful family. Here we go. There's a beautiful family and the little one. Awesome. 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 So let me just real quick share here. Next week, I want to give everyone, and we'll share this out again. But again, we are, let me pause this because I want to go back to one of my, give me 1 second here, guys. I want to share, here we go. Whoops. Okay, I want to share just that one slide. Two things here, guys. So again, follow us on Facebook. You can follow us on Facebook. You can go to Clear Vision with Miles. And the same thing, there's a typo on here and we're getting this fixed, but the same thing with YouTube is Clear Vision with Miles. So if you guys could do us a huge favor and subscribe to our YouTube channel, because soon we're going to be broadcasting live just from YouTube. Okay, right now we broadcast live to Facebook, so Facebook Live, and then I put it on the recording over onto YouTube, so you can see that. Okay, and then this month, all last month, and all of this month, what I'm doing is all the purchases of my book. This is still the Spanish title here, but we have it in Spanish and English. I have some English books here, and if you want to, what we're doing this last month and all this month. If you purchase the book, what I'm doing is putting, if you purchase and give a donation of $15, okay, for the book, I'll sign it, I'll dedicate it to you, and we'll get it to you, okay? And then that $15 will go straight to Sonriendo Juntos, which is the Casa Hogar, or the home in Tijuana that has 13 teenage girls, 11 babies. These 13 girls were either abused or just in a bad situation. Their babies having babies, yeah, because one of the youngest moms was 12 years old when she had her first baby. So Vonda, just imagine your baby at 12 having a baby.
Wow.
Very, very tough. No parents, nothing, no support, no love. And it was not out of an act of love. It was out of act of abuse. And so now these young girls are being taught and loved and trained to have a home. And so Sonriendo Juntos, we have to by law black out or cover out their faces, but those babies are a blessing. What Carlos and Erika are doing at Sonriendo Juntos is incredible. And when I wrote this book 5 years ago, it was a Thanksgiving weekend. I was off from work that Thanksgiving weekend, and I wrote the entire, it's not a long book. It's 68 pages. It's a very, very easy read. It's almost like a calling card. Vonda, you got one, right?
Yes.
You actually have one of the original ones.
I got this one a while ago.
That's the first edition. Yeah, you're the very first edition. No changes, but just the color. And that one's not signed, so I need to go to Colorado and sign that one. I think I need to go to Colorado. But what we're doing all this month, last month, this month, all the purchase, if you donate $15 or more, if you want, we'll give you a book and signed, and we're going to donate all of that 100% to Sonriendo Juntos. We want to gather enough money to build my wife and I have created a network. And again, Adoption Love Network is something that we've been working on for many years, but we're helping them pay their rent. There's, again, 13 girls, 11 babies, and 3 full-time people there, plus Carlos and Erika. And so they have a whole movement. Imagine your home, Vonda, with 13 people and 11 babies, from the ages of 12 months to 24 months.
Wow.
It could get chaotic. And so what we're doing is we're going to help them, have a good Christmas. We're going to help them have a good Christmas. And so if there's anything that, you want to donate, please let us know. We are actually working on, for Adoption Love, the goal is in 2023 is to have our 501(c). Right now, we're all just doing it personally. You can Venmo, you can Zelle, whatever it is, and we'll get that to them. We actually take pictures and show you. We have a WhatsApp group that we share with people. It's in Spanish, but we can translate in English. But we're really wanting to help this organization. So we do that. And, we also want to help organizations. Maybe, Vonda, you may know some organizations that we could help as well. We could bring on. So I definitely want to, bring you back again with your family that have all adopted, and maybe have a panel and just kind of share, have like a fun time. We've been called the This Is Us series.
Yeah, there might be a little crazy in that, getting that whole family together.
That's all right. That's all right. That's what families are for, right?
Yes, yes.
Well, Vonda, thank you so much. I don't know if there's any last comments. If you guys appreciate Vonda, please let her know that we appreciate her. We love her. Alma here from San Diego. She goes to our church, and she was saying thank you for sharing your story. Your daughters are beautiful. Octavio from Ciudad Guzman, that's further south of Guadalajara. Octavio is one of my business partners in Guadalajara, Mexico. He's watching as well. Thank you, Octavio. Thank you, everyone, Cari, everyone, Viviana, my kids. There's the hearts. There's the love. Thank you so much. Vonda, any last words you want to give? You want to say goodbye?
Oh yeah, thank you so much for all the great comments and encouragement. I appreciate it. And yeah, thanks again for having me. Look forward to being back.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Vonda. I'm going to end it. One quick video here, guys. God bless you. We'll see you next week. Please invite someone next week to Spanish. And if you guys can, if you want to, say hello in the comments, say goodbye, and we're going to go ahead and just play this video one more time. All right, everyone. Thank you so much. Have a great night. We'll see you next week.